Have you ever felt lost or uncertain when thinking about your future path? Don't worry, you're not alone. It might be hard to believe when you look at the current success of Stephanie Fua, the founder of social media agency Duo Studio, but she once felt lost after graduating from university. Even harder to believe, Stephanie wasn't always sure about her career path. Despite graduating with a degree in mass communication, a field that closely aligns with her current work. But the 33-year-old founder, whose company collaborates with major brands and corporations, shared that the path wasn't always as clear as it is now. Stephanie recalls that she never felt she fit into any of the fields typically pursued by mass communication students, be it journalism, marketing, public relations, or research. After graduating, I had no idea what I wanted to do or what my true identity was. Meanwhile, many of my peers working in corporate media, news agencies, and government sectors had started climbing into managerial roles. She adds, it seemed like everyone knew what they wanted to do while I was still juggling multiple paths. Furthermore, Stephanie's family background added to the pressure she felt. Her parents were the first in their families to earn university degrees. Her father, once a doctor, had become an entrepreneur, while her mother continued to climb the corporate ladder in banking. Many of her parents' acquaintances were also successful by societal standards. While others bragged about their children, I felt sad that my parents had nothing to say about my career. Stephanie admits, describing herself as the odd one out at family gatherings. It felt terrible, especially since my parents had followed the traditional path to success. It wasn't until she turned 27 that her path started to become clearer. The one thing Stephanie had consistently done, even during her break from work, was blogging. A self-proclaimed social media enthusiast, she had posted over 10,000 photos on her Instagram account to capture memories. One day, she blogged about a hidden alley cafe, titling her post, "Singapore's Hardest to Find Hidden Cafe." Within 2 days, her website traffic spiked to thousands of views. At the time, Stephanie was also trying to raise funds to support survivors of the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami through social media, while organizing a performance with her dancer friends. Within 3 weeks, they had raised tens of thousands of dollars. These two turning points showed Stephanie how powerful content marketing could be in impacting lives and businesses. This revelation pushed her to pursue a career in this direction. So, she returned to advertising and later transitioned into freelancing with a friend, eventually founding the company we now know as Duo Studio. However, starting a company wasn't easy. In fact, due to her previous poor management experiences, Stephanie had been hesitant to become a business owner herself. It may sound silly, but I started getting frustrated with all the projects coming my way. Although I loved the new challenges, I knew I couldn't handle everything on my own, Stephanie explains. And I didn't want to hire employees because it went against the freelance nature I had chosen. I didn't want to deal with HR. She continues, I felt overwhelmed. God, why are you giving me so many opportunities that I can't grasp? In response, God guided her through a sermon about the moment Jesus stepped into Peter's boat. Many of us know the story. Peter had been fishing all day without success until Jesus told him to cast the net again. Suddenly, Peter hauled in so many fish that the boat began to sink. So, despite her reluctance, Stephanie started hiring and building her team. From recruiting to firing, delegating to managing, it was all new and challenging for her. We've only been in business for 5 years, and each year has been a completely different experience, she reveals. In the first year, it was just the two of us. No responsibility to many people, just the two of us working together. That was me at that moment. My boat was sinking, Stephanie reflects. But it was also the moment when Peter called others to help him with the catch. For the first time in her life, Stephanie received insight she could apply to her own life. If God gave me this great gift, then I had to manage it well. There was no reason to hold back from sharing the blessing He had given me. The next year, my company grew to 4 to 6 people. That forced me to become a manager. I had to learn to delegate tasks and manage resources more efficiently. Administratively, we had to learn about HR and Social Security management. By the 3rd year, Stephanie stepped into the director role, meaning she had to learn how to set and communicate the company's direction to her staff. What helped her through those tough times was the discipline of always seeking God, even when she felt lost or negative. The first time I had to fire someone, I was incredibly stressed. I prayed a lot. God, can you guide me on how to handle this? She remembers. She didn't want the person to leave feeling worthless. She believed that letting someone go graciously was part of responsible leadership. God answered her with clear guidance on how to start and end the conversation. Stephanie even prayed with the employee before they parted ways. But having God with her didn't mean she didn't need to work hard. In fact, to become a better leader, she had to continually push herself to develop her weaknesses. One of the biggest challenges Stephanie faced in leading her team was her communication skills. To overcome this, she took on the role of a TV host for a documentary called Startup, where she interviewed entrepreneurs across Asia. Aside from sharpening her ability to communicate clearly and concisely, the role also helped her nurture her vision to expand her business across Southeast Asia. In 2020, she expanded her team, launching Duo Studios operations in Malaysia. Stephanie even signed up as an instructor for General Assembly, an online learning platform, to further develop her ability to articulate and convey ideas. Looking back, Stephanie expresses that her journey wasn't easy, but it was worth it. She admits, by traditional standards of success, I wasn't a great prospect. I didn't do well in school, didn't know what I wanted to pursue, and job hopped a lot. But while the definition of success in Singapore remains narrow, she believes that everyone has a different path. And at 33, she knows that the winding roads were part of her growth process. Her encouragement to those still figuring out their direction is to keep persevering and trying. It's tough, but looking back, I wouldn't trade my experiences for anything because God prepared everything to equip me for what I'm doing now. A deep understanding of all the skills necessary to run a business. Most importantly, Stephanie encouraged young people to follow God's lead. Even though I can make a plan to grow everything, I know that so many things are beyond my control. In the end, as Proverbs says, we can make our plans, but the Lord directs our steps.